Where's Mike Ryan?
Who knows?
No one knows.
Yeah.
Is he still in L.A. next to that other guy? The guy that he zoomed in with? What's his name?
Cody Rhodes.
The other guy.
The other guy. It was
guy.
awkward. Is Mike Ryan avoiding people today because the Hurricanes lost? Is that I was not informed. This is how it happened today. Billy walks in and I ask him, who's in charge? And Billy looks around the room and is like, I guess I am. And that's the prep that went into today's show.
There was no one here, so I stood up, and I took one for the team. I said, you know what?
Billy.
Yeah, I said, you know what?
Boy, Billy.
I own the day, Dan. I said, today is going to be a Billy day, for better or worse. Because by default, because no one else is here.
Right.
Hey.
Got it.
But no one knows where he is.
Was he not in Houston for the Final Four?
He was not, which, by the way,
H-Town.
Mr. Miami, this is the only time they've been to the Final Four. Go to Houston. He was credentialed. He could have gone if he was there, gotten access, talked to people. It was like at WrestleMania, watching the game on his phone, I think.
With that other guy.
Yeah, with the other guy.
Who's that guy?
A tweeter writes in, as soon as the LeBatard show got involved, FAU was doomed. That show is a giant jinx.
Not true.
No, that was a Mattress Max jink, if I'm going to be honest with you, because he came in and he made an announcement that he was sponsoring them, and I think he was giving them NIL money, and then he was going to give them a speech, and then Mattress Mac does what Mattress Mac does. I don't know why his name's a tongue twister.
Mattress Mac.
Yeah, Mattress
You
Mac.
got so scared of the name that you called it a jink instead
Jinx?
of a jinx. Yeah, well, just the
It's
name.
a Billy Day, Dan.
It
We
is
don't
a Billy
focus
Day.
on those
For
mistakes.
better
Yeah.
or for worse?
For better,
That
for
is
worse.
correct.
Here we are. We're here. Look. I come here, man. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here. It's Monday, ready to work. Nose to the grindstone. I'm here. Jess is here. Tony's here. Jeremy's here. You're here. Stugotz is here. We're ready. We're here to work. That's it. But Gino's here somewhere.
Thank you. I don't need Gino's presence to be announced to anybody because I don't think anyone knows who Gino is. It's unnecessary. It's a special Billy thing to say things that don't have any context
Juan's here.
with the rest of
Yep.
what it is that we're doing
Just
on the
pointing
show.
out who's here, Dan.
Yeah, I noticed.
I think Miami losing and FAU losing was the funniest outcome in the Final Four for South Florida, but I would have taken also FAU winning and Miami losing as the secondary funniest outcome for South Florida.
They choked, right? FAU choked.
I don't feel that way.
No, they 100% choked, Dan. They had a 15-point lead. They choked.
Up 14 in the second half.
Make a layup, you know what I mean?
They played great. They belong. They're going to be around for a while, but Billy's right. You're up 14 in the second half against a good San Diego State team. You should close that out.
The team that beat Alabama. Yes, we can accuse anybody who had a big lead of choking. The more interesting thing to me with the two games is the way they lost is the worst way, right? The way Miami lost is fine. If you're a fan of Miami, you hurt and you get on with your weekend. The way FAU lost, that stays with you for a really long time.
I guess you're right. I mean, Miami, what you're saying is Miami shit the bed. They knew the game was over in the first half, essentially,
I mean,
right?
shit the bed is strong, though. Stu.
No,
You got
FAU shit the bed.
two 7-footers. Your biggest guy is 6'8", and
Sharded
he's
the
not
bed.
an offensive guy.
Okay.
What are you going to do?
Put it on the poll, Juju, at
Play
LeBatard show. Who sharded the bed more, Miami or FAU? Jim Larrañaga will be on with us shortly. You can accuse him of that to his face. Stugotz has been very busy in behind the scenes working on the Larrañaga statue.
Deserves it.
Billy, Dwyane Wade, I don't think we talked about this enough last week, and I don't know, Stugotz, if this is something that should have escaped our attention talking about it publicly, because I don't believe that Miami has had, I don't know off the top of my head, very many first ballot Hall of Famers anywhere in sports. I don't.
Marino.
Off the top of my head, I think it's a couple, and just a guy that gets the call on first ballot Hall of Fame and everyone shrugs because it's so obvious that his greatness was going to be first ballot. We haven't had a lot of that in our history covering sports in Miami.
We've had Marino. We've had Jason Taylor. I'm not certain if Jimmy Johnson was a first ballot guy.
Was Jason Taylor first ballot?
I believe he was, yeah.
I'm not totally positive that so. Somebody can look that up for us and inform us. I just wanted to talk for a second because Billy wanted to know. He wanted an update from Stugotz.
Yeah, where are you in your quest to make sure he never gets a statue down here?
Well, it's interesting because I'm currently trying to get a statue built for Jim Larrañaga because he deserves it. Billy, an interesting thing has happened along the way. I realized when I said that I'm going to do everything in my power to not have them construct a statue for Dwyane Wade, it was uncomfortable to realize that there were so many people within the Heat organization that agreed with me that I've decided to pivot here, and now I am determined to get Dwyane Wade his rightful statue in front of whatever arena they're playing in right now. So I have gone the other way. Wade deserves it. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's a 3-time champion. People agree with me about not putting up the statue. I was joking.
But what is that?
And now I'm going to get him his statue.
What Heat people agree with you? What are you doing
I don't
there?
want to name names. I don't want to do that.
Can't name your sources, Dan. You know that. Come on.
I can't do that.
Hold on a second. You're claiming that you were saying it just to do a thing, then you found out that within the Heat organization, a lot of people agreed with you that he should not get a statue.
Yeah.
So now you think he should get a statue?
So now I'm going to help him get a statue because he deserves one. I was just doing a bit on the radio, and then all of a sudden people started texting me. They're agreeing with me, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? He's the greatest player in Heat franchise history. Yeah.
This pivot seems...
So now when he gets the statue, Dwyane, you can thank me. How about that?
Okay, I don't...
Because I am working behind the scenes day and night, Dan, to try to make this happen for him. He deserves it. You agree, right?
Well, how are you working day and night for both him and Jim?
Well, listen, I haven't really gotten my hands dirty with Jim yet. It's going to be tough to convince UM considering they just made it to the Final Four. They didn't win anything. He hasn't won anything. He just made a Final Four. So, I'll work on that. It's a long play for Larrañaga, but for Wade, I feel like I can get this done and get it done quickly.
Billy, you're allowing Stugotz. Stugotz said,
what happened?
I mean, he's saying now it's a joke, but he said if Dwyane Wade played 1 minute in a Cavs uniform with LeBron James, he would work day and night, fingers to the bone to make sure he never got a statue. And now today he's forgotten all that, and he's just gone the other way. And he's thrown a bunch of people in the Heat organization that I don't believe texted him under the bus saying they don't want Wade to get a statue, which I simply don't believe. I believe that is one of Stugotz's many unspooled lies, and he's now pivoted from working day and night, fingers to the bone, he will not get a statue, to saying he's working day and night to get him a statue when I've never known Stugotz for anyone or anything to work day and night.
Fair.
I mean, it's obviously the timing is that he's getting into the Hall of Fame, so he sees that this might be a fruitless quest of his to make sure he doesn't get a statue. So now he just wants to, on the front end of it, say that he's working to get him a statue. So if he does ever get a statue, he can take the credit for that.
Duh.
Full of fruit.
Can I make an admission? Our mic volume was really low to start the segment. If anyone listening is wondering what happened, it's because I was filming a TikTok in here and was playing with the sliders for my TikTok and then forgot to readjust them. So that my audition for executive producer already is not going so well.
When are you auditioning for executive producer? Because it seems like Billy learned today that he was auditioning for executive
I'm not auditioning. Producer. You can do it today if you'd like.
That was something that probably should have been handled before the show. I appreciate you giving
Maybe
it
next
off.
week, but
now.
I'm on vacation. So.
Billy, you want to join me in my quest to get Dwyane a statue? What do you think?
No.
Why?
Why would I want him to get a statue?
Why not?
I don't like what's going on with Dwyane Wade and the Heat, and I know I'm in the minority here. You guys have been treated so badly by this Dwyane Wade and continue to kiss his tuchus, and I don't like it one bit.
Tuchus.
Every chance he gets, he leaves you high and dry. Every single chance he gets, he leaves you high and dry, makes a fool of you, and you convince yourself he'll never do this to us again. And guess what? Guess what, gang? He did it to you so many times. Now he's a Utah Jazz, okay? He was out there at the All-Star game representing the Jazz. I wouldn't be surprised if when he goes into the Hall of Fame, he has written in their like Jazz ownership group or something like that. You know what I mean?
Wears a Cavs hat.
Exactly. Tries to whitewash the Heat.
If he wears a Cavs hat, I'll tell you right now, I'll take the statue down.
Exactly
okay?
right.
Yeah.
He tries to hot wash the Heat off of his resume every chance he gets, and I don't understand why.
Juju, put it on the poll. Is Dwyane Wade going into the Hall of Fame as a Cleveland Cavalier?
He had that other stop with the Bulls, remember? Where he went and he told everybody, I'm home. Home. After this is my house, home. Every time he comes here, every place that guy goes is home. I don't understand it.
I chose Cleveland.
Timeshares everywhere he goes.
I chose Cleveland as the the point of mockery instead of Chicago because he can plausibly call Chicago home. Cleveland, he cannot plausibly call home. He was there for 4 seconds. And it's the reason that Stugotz said he would work day and night, fingers to the bone, to prevent him from getting a statue.
Yeah.
And now Stugotz points at you, encouraging you to rip Dwyane Wade while just taking the popular side of, I'll work on that statue now. Never mind all the words and efforts I said before it. None of them mean anything. I'm now on the other side of this, leaving you alone, Billy.
Oh, I mean, that's what he does. If I tell you what he did to me on Friday, you'd be shocked.
Tell him, Billy.
You'd be shocked at what he did to me on Friday.
What'd I do? Can't even look at him.
Drop the hammer, Billy.
Guy leaves me high and dry where I'm interviewing someone. I'll just tell you who it is because it's going to come out today.
Go ahead.
I got very short notice that I would be interviewing Andy Roddick about a Subway sandwich and a pickleball tournament because Stugotz had me book an interview.
I heard you did great.
While he had a flight and didn't tell me he had a flight.
I changed the flight, in fairness to me.
Why?
I had to. I mean,
how is that in fairness to you? You booked an interview that
things changed, Dan. You know?
But in fairness to you, what? Billy got stuck doing an interview with Andy
It was
Roddick?
very lovely. The heads up that I had wasn't a lot.
It wasn't. I could have done a better job on that front, but I had to change flights. You got to do what you got to do when the weather's coming into Chicago, you know?
You told me your flight. Well, hold on a second.
I don't know what I told
Here
you.
come the lies.
Hold on a
Here
second.
come the lies.
So wait a minute.
Here they come.
You moved your flight to earlier because bad weather was coming because you told me you had the first flight of the day and it was delayed.
It was. Yeah, it was. I listen, I booked it with good intentions. I thought I'd be home in plenty of time to do the interview, and then that flight got delayed. There's nothing I could do about it. I sent you a text. I didn't want to text you too early because,
Billy, let me tell
an hour behind there.
Just let me tell Billy and the audience what's happening here because it has been a fascinating evolution. It really has been. I've been wondering for a long time how media members in this climate who have had a lot of success, how they're going to age. And this is how Stugotz is going to age. He's no longer even doing us the courtesy of keeping track of any of the previous lies. Like it's just blah, 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 blah. They're used to my lies. Blah, 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 blah. Changed the flight, lacrosse. My mom died, bar mitzvah, Moderna, blah, 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 blah. Lies.
Yeah.
Wait, so you were flying to Chicago and thought you'd be in a place where you could interview Andy Roddick by 11 a.m.?
No. I flew to Chicago, and then my daughter, she wanted to go to the John Mayer concert the next night. She ended up not wanting to go. So I changed my flight to the first flight out, thinking I'd have plenty of time to make it home in time for the Andy Roddick interview, and then we had Hembo on afterwards. Now, I made the Hembo interview. He wrote a book with Grady.
Love Hembo.
Billy wasn't there for that. And then, but I didn't make the Roddick. So I asked Billy, hey, can you try to change it? You know, see if, Roddick can reschedule for later or do about.
Very excited for this man, very excited for his program. I want to offer congratulations because I do think that's the thing to do, but I don't know where he is between disappointment and enthusiasm when a season ends.
I mean, he took this school and this program to places it's never been before. I'm certain he would have rather had a better ending and represented better well on the biggest stage in the sport, but he made it to that stage. And that is a big step forward for the U.
Yeah, but you just said a minute ago he and they shit the bed.
Well, I mean, they did. I'm sorry.
No, they did. No, they did not.
Jim would say they did not play their best game in the biggest moment. That's all.
Let's talk to him because UConn was pretty good. They were favored.
Give me credit for at least being honest with Coach L.
You weren't honest with Coach L.
I'm building him a statue for crying out loud. He deserves one.
We should build him a statue. Let's ask him since he's here. Jim, I'm going to congratulate you. But take me through the emotions of getting that close, knowing it's a worthy accomplishment, that it's difficult, even though you've done it here and at George Mason. But also, once you get that close, you expect to win, right?
Yeah, well, here's what I would tell you guys. Yesterday, that was my bad day. I beat myself up. I reviewed the game. I tried to figure out how we could have played better, how I could have helped my guys relax and play with a little more confidence and be better connected like we had done in so many games previously. Today, I'm over that. I'm looking forward to celebrating our run to the Final Four. I have a lot of friends in coaching, both active and retired, who are great, great coaches, guys I admire who had great careers. They never made it to the Final Four, ever, not one time. So I'm not going to go review the semifinal game with anybody. I've had enough of that one. I did that all day yesterday.
What does your bad day look like? Because you told us last time that you really suffer these things. And what do you think you could have done differently? Or does that risk asking you to review the semifinal game?
Yeah, here's what I would say, Dan. The whole idea of playing in any game is to play your best basketball, meaning you have to execute your game plan better than your opponent executes its game plan. No matter what that game plan is, no matter who it's against. And in many regards, we played Drake. They executed their game plan better than us for 35 minutes. But we somehow recovered from that. And in the last 5 minutes, did exactly what we needed to do and outscored them 16-1 and moved on from the round of 64-32, where we faced Indiana, the odds-on favorite, a number 2 seed, a team that featured a first-team All-American, a guy 6'10", and our tallest starter was 6'7". And we were able to defeat them, outplayed them, and moved on to the Sweet 16, where we played the number 1 seed, Houston. Then we beat them. Then we had to play Texas, the number 2 seed, and we beat them. So I spent all day yesterday reviewing the national semifinal game. But today, I'm looking back on the history of our program that was dormant from 1971 to 1985. We didn't have one. And now, in the last 12 years, my staff and I have built the program up to be a Final Four team and a national contender. And we're going to keep building this thing and hopefully be back in the Final Four and be a little better to execute our game plan and win a national championship.
Jim, how long have you been married?
This July will be 52 years.
Wow.
What does your wife do yesterday, the day you're suffering? How does that one, what has she learned about how to interact with you?
Well, you know, my wife and I started out when I became a head coach trying to create a family atmosphere and a culture that our players and their families and our fans and the administration and community would get behind and really enjoy. So she's not only like a member of my staff, she is my counselor. We talk, she's got a great feel for people. And she just kept reminding me yesterday about the wins, kind of like I just did with you guys.
What was the best team you played?
Connecticut.
And when you're playing against Connecticut and before the game against Connecticut, did you know that?
Yeah, we did. The problem with Connecticut, just comparing teams, is Connecticut has a tremendous presence inside, but they also have some of the best shooters in the country, which was proven right from the opening tip when they made 3 straight threes. You know, when we played Indiana, we almost dared them to shoot a 3, and we packed it in around Trace Jackson Davis. Against Connecticut, we had the same plan for Sonogo, and he hit 2 threes, then they hit another 3. We're down 9-0. We got to all of a sudden start making adjustments in the first 2 minutes of the game. We pull within 19-16 with about, 10 minutes to go in the half. But we struggled to score because their defense was that good. You know, the guys on our team, they wanted to win so bad. They wanted to play so good. Our offense started breaking it down way too soon. We started going one-on-one way too soon. We didn't get the assists we normally do. We didn't get the quality of shots we normally get. All season long, our offense carried us. We were in the top 10 teams in the country in offensive efficiency, but against Connecticut's defense, we just couldn't do it.
Jim, what do you chalk that up to? Is it nerves? Is it the kids wanting to perform so well on such a big stage for you, for the school, for the fans? What do you chalk that up to?
Or bad matchup, like you were saying. If you've got,
guys, it's all of that. You know, the first thing is that is the biggest stage in college basketball and maybe in sport. I mean, the March Madness is, in my opinion, the greatest sporting event in the world. 3 weeks of drama, 3 weeks of last second shots, and look at the game before us. Florida Atlantic had a sensational season. They led the whole game. Then with no time left on the clock, San Diego State makes a shot to advance to the championship game tonight. These games are normally, so exciting that every fan who loves basketball is tuned in and enjoying it. And I'm sure the nation was watching us advance to the Final Four. Beating a number 1 seed like Houston, a number 2 seed like Texas was very dramatic. And those two teams all thought they were headed back home to Houston, Texas. So, we had an incredible run. It was a heck of a lot of fun because these players are so much fun to be around. My wife was our ambassador at the hotel. She had one of the volunteers from the NCAA come up and hug her with tears in her eyes and said, "You were in the lobby almost every minute of the day, hugging people, and half of them you didn't even know, but you wanted them to be comfortable and enjoy this event as much as possible. And you certainly did that." And that's always been a characteristic of my wife's personality. She's an ambassador.
When you talk, and the last time you were on with us, you told us about some of the positive emotions that you had and the landmark emotions that you had in the losing. What were the moments that you remember that fill you with both the most gratitude and pain? Because I don't think, Jim, that a lot of people understand that when you devote yourself to this kind of caring, you end up loving these people you're coaching.
Yeah, you guys, some of you might be old enough to remember the TV show Wide World of Sports, where the game, the show begins with a commercial leading up to the show. And the slogan is the thrill of victory or the agony of defeat. And that's what sports is. That's what our team went through. And that's what I told them afterwards. I said, I know none of you have seen the Wide World of Sports, but the slogan was the thrill of victory or the agony of defeat. And we experienced both over a 1-week period. From the thrill of victory against Houston and Texas to the agony of defeat against UConn. But I could not be more proud of this year's team, the players, the way they conducted themselves as role models, not only of our basketball program, but of the University of Miami. These kids are not just athletes, they're students. They're all going to graduate. They're students who make friends in the campus community. And they made friends with all our fans. They took pictures with everybody, signed autographs with anybody that asked for it. So they did a wonderful job.
We were talking before you came on here, for fans, obviously, losing. The worst way to lose is to lose the way that FAU lost. You're leading all game and then the season ends. How about for a coach? Which is the worst way to lose? The way FAU lost or the way you guys lost?
Yeah, certainly it hurts both ways. But if you lead for the whole game and the opponent beats you at the buzzer, like what happened to FAU, that pain runs longer. Yesterday, I struggled. The pain was there all day long. But if the Dusty May, he's probably got to deal with that for at least another week because of the agony of what he or his team could have done in those last 10 seconds to preserve the victory.
But, Jim, to be clear, you'd rather have that. You'd rather deal with the agony for another 6 days, right? It means you had a chance in the game.
No, here's what I would say. You want your team to play well up to its capability.
Right.
If we had played our normal game, no matter what happens, I'd be happy. Not happy we lost, but at least feel like, hey, we did what we do, and it just didn't work out. Connecticut earned the victory. But we just didn't play the way we normally play. The stage was so big, the emotion so high, it resulted in bad shot selection. We didn't rebound as well as we're capable. One of the things I was happy with, Connecticut is the number 2 rebounding team in the country. And we had almost as many offensive rebounds as they did. I think it was 14-13 or something like that. And so, we gave a great effort. It wasn't our effort. It was our inability to calm down and take the shots we normally shoot.
Last question, Jim. Can you explain to us in empirical terms, in any way that we can understand, what it means to your program? Not emotional terms, real terms. What it will mean to your program going forward, having made it to the Final Four.
Well, here's what I'm hoping. First of all, as a university and as an athletic department and as a member of the Coral Gables and Miami community, I hope the fans will cheer us on in the future. Build a fan base like Duke has, where you can't get a ticket, where the fans are standing throughout the game and the arena is packed every night. From a recruiting standpoint, we have to go out and recruit right now. High school players, portal guys, international kids. And we're hoping they were following our run and have interest now in the University of Miami's basketball program, because we always have to replenish our talent. We had great guys this year, but some of them will move on. Guys like Jordan Miller had a sensational senior year. All right. We have to figure out a way to replace Jordan Miller and anybody else, whether they graduate or transfer or go to the NBA. We need to have more really good players.
Jim, we're going to give it to you because you deserve it, but I'd also like you to guarantee, and I'm with you, I'm right behind you.
Yeah.
Let's guarantee a national championship next year for
That's how
the
you
U,
replenish.
while we give you a standing
year.
ovation, because you, sir, did a heck of a job.
Guarantee it, Coach.
Yes.
Guarantee it.
Coach.
Yeah. You guys are awfully funny. You're awfully nice.
Guarantee it, Coach.
Guarantee it.
There's no guarantees in sports.
Oh, come on. Just lie to the fans. That's what coaches do.
Him, Larrañaga, he
So
is.
you guys in charge of lying to the fans.
Yes,
You do a
Stugotz.
great job.
Yes,
Stugotz
yes,
can
yes,
be your
yes.
lying ambassador. Thank you. He is him, Larrañaga. Thank you, sir. Good talking to you, and congratulations.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Senator. Oh, he's gone.
He's gone.
I spent my entire life, Stugotz, in sports writing, reading the sports writing poets write about how baseball, the pastoral national pastime, was a timeless game without a clock, that you could go with your parents, go with loved ones, and talk between pitches and slow everything down. And then the entire world sped up. And baseball did too. And Billy...
Too much, by the way.
And people stopped talking to each other.
Yes, people stopped talking to each other as well. Yes. And Billy, I don't know how this happened exactly. I would call him a diehard Marlins fan.
I would call myself an impartial member of the media.
And a not impartial member of the media, because he is a homer for the Marlins. He simply missed
Your words, not mine, by the way.
the entire only Marlins victory in a weekend against the Mets. I'm assuming that ballpark was filled with Mets fans, that whatever crowd was there
Filled?
were Mets fans. I'm assuming that park, to the degree that noise was
Had
Filled.
6 Mets fans. Yes.
whatever noise was being made there was probably being made by Mets fans, and Billy missed the only victory that the Marlins had because the games are moving too fast for him.
Well, I mean, I didn't miss it. I heard it on the radio, but I was surprised because I had an event that I went to on Friday. So I heard the start of the game. First of all, I was thrown off a little bit, and I shouldn't have been because it's been the case for a couple years now. The 6:40 start confused me because it was
Love the 6:40 start.
It's a good start.
It's an odd time though.
No, but it's a good start time because you get in and out. If you're a weekday 6:40 start, you have kids. And now, by the way, at the pace the baseball games are going, you're home by like 8:15. It's
amazing.
It's insanity.
Yeah.
So the 6:40 start time, I forgot about that. I was thinking 7:10. So I got in the car and it was like the third inning already. It was like 7:05. I'm like, how did this happen? And then I went to the event that I went to, hamburger house party. And then when I left, I had to go to do a quick Target mobile pickup. Target mobile pickup, by the way. I don't know if you guys indulge in that. Incredible. Dan, do you shop at Target?
yeah.
I
This
do
is the
not.
way the Target mobile pickup works.
Not mobily. I have walked into Targets, but I don't.
Have you?
Yes, I thought you'd enjoy me saying that.
Shocking.
What'd you
Yes.
think you were
was
walking
that
into?
A chicken calling me a fraud there? Was that a chicken? Was that a stray chicken calling me a fraud? No, you're not going to be able to.
the chickens.
I find Target to be wonderful in its. That is not the right
I knew
sound
it.
to play. Yeah, I mean, Billy just learned he was in charge when he walked in today, and the computer's
Dan, you going to
confusing.
Target is a dangerous game because most people go into Target and they're like, oh, I need Cascade, and then they walk out with like $100. But you could literally buy everything in Target.
I can't walk into Target without getting more things than I need.
Well, that's why the mobile order is great because it like exercises self-control for you. Because what happens is you go on the app and you just put in beep, bop, boop, all the things that it is that you want to get, right? And then you put, I'm going to go mobile pick it up. You order it. And then like within 2 hours, sometimes 3, depending on the time, it says, hey, your mobile order is ready. You go, you drive out to the parking
Takes
spot.
longer than a baseball game for them to fill the order.
It actually does now if we're going to bring it back. It's it takes longer than a baseball game. So you go, you do the mobile order, you tell them you're here, you tell them the spot number, they bring it out. You're not supposed to tip them, I've been told. And I kind of look around and I'm like, don't worry, no one's watching. You know what I mean? Here,
What?
and I try
Why
to
are
do
you
it.
gotta
talking?
say it
What is
like
that?
that.
What,
You
what,
did.
through the
Because if
side
you're
of your
kind
mouth?
of because
Wait, you're tipping them?
Yeah, sometimes.
You have like a spare dollar to like hand out your window and like give it to them?
I'll tip them sometimes. Yeah, they walk out with the things they put in your car. I feel bad sometimes. I worked in
You should
retail.
tip them.
I
Why?
know the
Who says
retail
not to
grind.
tip them?
Well, I was told one time we're not allowed to take tips. And I was like, come on.
Why are you talking out of the side of your
No,
mouth?
he's doing
Because
it
I
right. He's doing
found-
it right. He's doing it
I
right.
found like I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing. So when you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing, you're like,
Just in case people are watching, Dan, that's
and
why.
then you can't move your lips too much because then people can read what you're saying with your lips. So you talk out of the side of your mouth. You know what I mean?
The Publix
He's a
bag
ventriloquist.
boys, when I was a Publix bag boy, they didn't allow Publix bag boys to take tips. You guys are always making
They
fun of
wear
me.
now name tags that say we can't take tips at Publix, which is cray. I'm young.
You cannot be someone who tips at Target when you're not supposed to tip at Target and be the person who makes fun of me for carrying cash. How do you tip if you don't have cash?
Well, that's a big thing. Okay, so I went
Are you
away.
tipping them in quarters? Like you're giving the guy like
No, I
four
give-
quarters?
No, I
Venmo?
give him cash, but I'm learning, Dan, and maybe it's because I'm not getting closer to your age because we're aging at the same rate, but I'm getting closer to the age that you were at when you were saying this. I went to a hotel recently and I took out cash and the ATM gave me all 10s. So every time I left with my car, it's a $10 tip, because I can't get anything smaller and I'm not going to ask them for change, right?
You can ask him for change. It's
I
totally
can't-
normal.
No, you cannot ask someone that you're tipping for change. That's weird.
Put it on the poll, Juju, at LeBatard Show, because I will do that. At LeBatard
You asked them for
Show.
change?
Because you only have hundreds in your wallet.
Every time I left, when I was on vacation, it was not a vacation because I went to like 4 World Baseball Classic games and I have to keep driving back and forth from like where I was staying to the World Baseball Classic. And every time I felt bad not giving the valet person a tip. So it was like $10 every single time that by the end I ran out of cash. I actually went to CVS and bought a Snickers bar just to get cash so that I could leave cash for the housekeepers.
$10 again?
Wait,
No,
but
I took out a 20 for that. But then there was someone that I left the bags with, and then I'm like, do I tip this person? I needed to start getting 5s as a thing. That the bills were too large for all of these exchanges. For me, I'm not a,
Wait, if a valet driver comes out and all you have is a 20, what's the play there? You don't just give him the 20. You go back inside and ask for change? What do? I asked the valet driver. I asked the guy who drops off the car, hey, do you have change? I'm not ashamed.
They always have change.
I
so
have
they
not
have a
given you
huge wad of
20. Give me
cash.
15 back. You get 5.
you can't ask them for change. Like if you go to the front desk, that's different. But I feel like you're then taking money away from them. You know what I mean? Like you give them a bill and then you're like, you need to give me money back. I would feel not good doing
Wait, but
that.
the math is I'm giving you 20, you're giving me 15, you keep the bigger bill.
No, because you're giving them 1 and they're giving you 3, so it feels like they're losing.
Totally
you know?
agree.
You totally agree.
Totally agree.
On
No-
what?
Nothing. Totally
On
agree,
what?
Billy. On giving one bill and getting back multiple bills, it doesn't feel like the right exchange. It
What are
doesn't
we
feel
doing
right.
here, guys?
Feels like you're losing. Yeah.
I know math.
You guys are arguing that if you have a $20 bill to tip a valet, you're not asking the valet for change on the 20 because that person is giving you a 10, a 5, and two ones, and you're like, no, I don't want to do it that way. You can keep the 20.
I feel like it's on you. Like you need to do the prep ahead of time and know you're going to be in that situation.
That's exactly it.
And if not, it's on you.
Well,
Like,
this is what
you
I
needed
do.
to get the
This is what I
exchange.
do at Whole Foods. If the bill is too big, I will ask for change. I will tip the person who has simply rung up my order and given me the bags because I'm not doing it the way that the young people do it at the terminals that don't need human beings. I
No.
want to continue to employ human
What did you
beings.
just say?
No, that's dangerous.
The
You can't-
self-checkout, what Dan was talking
Terminals.
about.
I mean, you're making it an
self-checkout.
airport. I mean,
I'm confused. What's happening here?
the self-checkout. Dan doesn't like to do
Old
self-checkout.
guys.
Yes.
Yes,
I love doing it. I do it all
Me
the time.
too. I
Yeah,
did it
it's
last
great.
night.
Yeah.
I want to start not only an old guys but also a cheap guys.
Get off my plane.
That is neither of those things.
$3 tipper over here.
Give it Valley Guy $20. What are we talking about?
What do you want?
It is truly
17
out of shame. It is truly out of shame.
$20.